Hi, I'm Chris Tackett with CoreLogic.
And I'm Joe Francica, also with CoreLogic. And we're going to talk today about retail and the use of location technology with site selection in particular, but a variety of other topics of how retailers today can use location and location-based data. Chris, this is not a topic that's new and different to retailers. Retailers have been using location data for a long time. One key example that I like to give is McDonald's. I happen to know a little bit about the history of how McDonald's got into this business. They used a piece of software that they developed on their own many, many years ago. They tried to sell it to other companies. Didn't quite work out. Nobody else wanted McDonald's software to do site selection. But in the intervening years, what happened is McDonald's found absolutely the most optimum sites to locate, a burger chain. And the site selection strategy became known to their competitors as the Golden Arches strategy. You just go where the Golden Arches was plopping down. It was interesting. And you see it today, Burger King's being located alongside of McDonald's. But there's been an evolutionary process with the use of location technology and location intelligence for retailers. It isn't just gut feel anymore. They just can't go down the street and say, you know what, that's the location. There's a lot more data that's available to them, and the guys who process it quicker and better and faster win the game. How are they doing this? What do you think is their best avenue now in terms of utilizing this plethora of location-based data?
Well, first off, I'm not surprised that McDonald's didn't sell that software because the other retailers, they're thinking, what's the point? This is a traditional business process. McDonald's was using their first mover advantage to use that software to identify their ideal locations. But what we find is that there's actually a second mover advantage by seeing who is the trendsetter and then following along on their coattails. And that's why you see so much retail pop in around the location of McDonald's. But to your point, that's no longer going to be sufficient. Companies need to be able to find their own locations by doing birds of a feather analysis. They need to look where there are negative spaces that they can go and fill. And the other problem that they're having to solve right now is they're having to figure out where the puck's going, to use a Gretzky quote, where the puck's going, not where it's been. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's a great point, because there's all sorts of factors that go into determining sites. It isn't just finding the right site today. It's also considering rental rates. It's also considering things like pedestrian traffic. How many people are going to walk by that? And then it's also, what's my highest and best use 10 years from now? Is it going to be the same, to your point, is it going to be the same demographics in this area in 10 years? So when companies run up against this issue of where do I site my stores, it's not just today, it's tomorrow. And in tomorrow, is it going to be, am I going to stay at this site? Am I going to remodel that site, or am I going to move that site? And that goes into this highest and best use planning. I brought up the issue with pedestrian data. There's issues regarding footfall data. It's privacy, it's data quality. I know you've worked with some of this data. I'd like to hear your perspective on those issues and how they could best use pedestrian footfall data.
Well, the short answer is you can use that data to try to understand where people are walking by, but also you want to understand when they're actually stopping and entering a store. So that visit analysis is one of the things that we can do using some AI technologies to be able to determine who's actually entering those stores. The difference between those two events is so critical for a retailer that they need to be able to have those sorts of data to be able to prove that folks are actually visiting their stores. When it comes to footfall data, we're always looking for where are people going, what times of day are they going to be there, what days of the week are they going to be there. We're looking for patterns to try to maximize whatever advertising or whatever we're doing as hooks to get people into those locations.
Yeah, one of the things we're trying to do here at CoreLogic is estimate from a predictive nature where growth is going to be. What is going to happen that causes me to look at these other areas? And one of the things that we're trying to get at is, what are the indicators of growth? Can we model that? Can we do predictive analysis such that, you know what, we think this area 2 years down the road is probably going to be a high area where there's going to be the potential for residential development or commercial development. And one of the things we're using are what we call these indicators of growth, these factual indicators. Things like, did the land use change? Did it go from vacant to commercial? And was there a farmer that owned that land, but now it's owned by a real estate developer? And so we're collecting a lot of this information such that, we really want to be able to predict growth. And so, I'm curious, is this something that you think retailers are interested in?
Oh, I think they're absolutely interested in it, because retailers marketing to consumers, what are they always going to want to know? They're going to want to know, where are the consumers and what is the demographic characteristics of those consumers? So absolutely.
Thanks, Chris. And I think we're going to have to leave it there. We hope you enjoyed our discussion here about retail and location intelligence. If you want to learn more about how CoreLogic can help you in your geospatial data journey, visit corelogic.com or check out the links in the description.